Hi everybody, um, Donald here. Okay, let's just lighten things up a bit. Whoa. Okay, let's get some bright colors up. So, yeah, I'm just excited to pop a video on. Just thinking of this how to solve the Ukraine war and the Ukraine-Russian war. I can't help thinking of the example of Pvt Doss, who was in the army in the Second World War, and he was a conscientious objector. He refused basically to carry a weapon, based on his biblical principles, to love your neighbor as yourself, and thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not kill actually was primarily his reason for not wanting to carry a weapon. So yeah, it just strikes me as if enough people decide that on conscientious ground, that they're not prepared to carry a weapon, that they don't want to carry a weapon, and they're certainly not going to fire a weapon, then if they're not carrying one, um, you know, there's so many Christians in the Ukrainians, and there's also Christians in the Russians. And so, what an example! What an opportunity to set a Christian example, to not carry a weapon. What can the government do? They can't force you to carry a weapon. With Pvt Doss, he got a really hard time. People pushed him around. People, um, you know, treated him really badly for a while. He suffered a lot of bullying and that, but he refused to give up, and he just held his ground. And in the end, in the movie Hacksaw Ridge, he became a total hero. He saved something like 72 lives, single-handedly. He lured these men down a 200-foot cliff, single-handedly, who were caught and wounded, um, by the enemy when his own people retreated. And his motto was just one more, Lord, to give him the strength. Just one more person he wanted to save the life of. So I believe that, you know, it's time that Christians can actually show what we're made of and put our faith in God to protect us and to protect those who we love, and refuse to carry a weapon. I know that if anybody puts a call out in New Zealand that, we have to get drafted into the army to go and fight the war, I'm going to sign up to be a conscientious objector. I'm happy to go along and help, um, in the form of medical aid or in the form of whatever, having got some hospital training and that and medical training. I'm happy to go along as a chaplain, but or a stretcher bearer or something, but I'm not going to carry a weapon. I'm going to refuse to carry a weapon. And I think if the word spreads out through the Ukrainian and the Russian forces, to be a conscientious objector, that together we the people, um, we can stop. We don't have to wait for the political leaders to sort out, everything in the war. The other thing about this that really strikes me as well is that there's this whole argument about, whose territory what is. Is it Russian territory? Is it Ukrainian territory? Who's got sovereignty in New Zealand? Is it the Queen, or is it the Maori people? Well, my answer to that, and I think God's answer to that, is that basically God is sovereign. And I think, God owns everything. He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, and the land. So basically, there's only one owner of all the land. There's only one owner of all of us. It's like in the story in the Bible, the account in the Bible of Abraham and Isaac. God was showing Isaac who owns, or God was showing Abraham who owns Isaac, and he basically asked him to sacrifice his son Isaac. And it was only when Abraham was willing to sacrifice Isaac that God raised his hand and told him not to. But the lesson there that Abraham had to learn was who owns Isaac. So, any of us who think that we own our children, well, you're making a mistake. God owns our children. God owns us. God owns our partners. God owns your business. God owns your house. God owns your car. God owns your breath, your next breath. God owns my next breath. So we need to come out of this delusion of ownership, and maybe come into the realization that what we have is stewardship, and with stewardship comes responsibility. And we're called upon to love our neighbors as ourselves. We're called upon by God to to love your neighbor as yourself, which means basically, Ukraine and Russia are neighbors. Each of us has neighbors, so we're called to love each other as we love ourselves. Love God and love your neighbor as yourself, the two greatest commandments. Okay, so that's a little brief YouTube video for tonight. Really catching up on some amazing videos by Mark Heeman on healing and evangelism throughout the world. Basically healings, massive healings. He goes around praying for people. He's in Sydney next week. I'm hoping to try and get over there if I can. And on the 21st and 22nd of October, they're free, so basically anyone can go along. And the other lady that I've been watching as well is Val Wolf. She's a South African, and both of these are on YouTube. So Mark Heeman, Heman, and Val Wolf, Wolf. These are people that are really seeing a lot of healings happening, and they're not giving the glory to themselves. They're giving all the glory going to God. So thank you for tonight. I just hope that somebody's got something from this. But I really think that there's a lot of people that are losing loved ones in these wars, and it's totally unnecessary. A lot of fear out there. So once we get it into our heads, I've actually written an email to the Kremlin, addressed to Vladimir Putin, suggesting that there's no point arguing over sovereignty, God's sovereign, and also to consider loving your neighbor as yourself. Okay, God bless, and may Lord protect us all. Amen.